at Southampton College at Long Island University. And I was thinking, boy, this is incredible. They invited us to do this. What a big honor. I'm sure all the students are very excited. And then I read that this year their commencement speaker was Kermit the Frog. And I thought that we're probably in this small category of speakers that are sort of novelty speakers. And then I started thinking about my college career. I went to college back in the early 70s. I went to Oberlin College in Ohio, where I was pre-med. I went during a period where they were really changing what was in college, and when I first got in, they had all these requirements about what courses you had to take, and during my time there, they got rid of all requirements entirely, and they even went to a different grading system. It was like pass-fail, only they went beyond pass-fail. It was called credit no entry. And credit no entry was so progressive that if you flunked the course, it never even went down into your transcript. It was as if you never even took it. This is a beautiful type of education that I recommend for everyone. Anyway, in college, my grade point average dropped every semester from my first to my last. 8 consecutive semesters on the downward turn. That's why I'm not a doctor before you today. I'm an ice cream guy. I did take one really good course called Carnival Technique, where I learned how to eat fire and lie on a bed of nails. And it was actually the only course that I ever made any use of after college. Something to keep in mind for the stuff you guys do. Anyway, I realized finally what the category is that Ben and I fit into as speakers, and it's the whoever would have guessed category. And this is because whoever would have guessed that Ben and Jerry would be doing what they're doing today. And among all the questions that Ben and I get asked, the most frequently asked questions is, did you ever have any idea that what you're doing would turn into this? And of course, the answer is no, and the more inclusive answer is that everybody who ever knew us is shocked to see what we're doing today. And I know for many of you, what you're doing today is in the category of whoever would have guessed, and I really salute you and wish that everybody has an experience where you accomplish something, whether it's big or small, where you say to yourself, I never thought I could do that, and whoever would have.
Well, I think about education, and it seems to me that education unto itself is meaningless and potentially destructive. And that to be truly of value, education must be informed by our hearts, our soul, and our spirit. Martin Luther King talked about this. He said that we have learned the secret of the atom, but forgotten the Sermon on the Mount. Our technical mastery has outstripped our spiritual capacity. We have guided missiles and misguided men. I think that the key to happiness and fulfillment is to realize that our well-being as individuals is intertwined with the well-being of all people. To live our lives based on an understanding that we're all interconnected, as we values to which the leaders of our society profess to subscribe. Yet if we try to integrate these values into our work lives as employees or business people or government workers, if we really try to act on these values instead of just mouth the words, we are laughed at, made fun of, or ignored or ridiculed as being hopeless idealists. When we first started attempting to integrate a concern for the community into our business activities at Ben & Jerry's, our advisors, the lawyers, the accountants, the business pundits, all told us that we were crazy, that it was impossible for a business to work to relieve societal problems and make a profit at the same time, and and that we'd end up going bankrupt. Now, these same pundits accuse us of doing good deeds in a cynical effort to manipulate consumers into buying more ice cream. Schopenhauer said that all truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. Doing things in a new way has never been popular. If it was popular to begin with, it wouldn't be new. Despite the fact that all I'm talking about here is a return to biblical values, the idea that we should actually practice these values in business and government is looked upon with disdain. Inscribed at his gravesite are these words from the late Senator Robert F. Kennedy. It is from numberless, diverse acts of courage and belief that human history is shaped. Each time a person stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, that person sends forth a tiny ripple of hope. And crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current which can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. We stand at an historical moment in time, and it's appropriate that we are here on the grounds of America's oldest private military college. We won. The scourge of our time, the Cold War, which has sapped the resources of our great country, has ended. Yet because the military budget has become a political sacred cow, it remains at the same levels as it was at the height of the Cold War. Over the next 5 years, our country plans to spend $1.3 trillion on the military. To print all that money at the rate of $1,000 per minute would take over 24 centuries. So in order to balance the budget, we're cutting all sorts of nutrition, education, and health programs for children and people in need, instead of bringing the military budget down to reasonable levels. Our country, the last remaining superpower on Earth, needs to learn to measure its strength not by how many people it can kill, but by how many people it can feed, clothe, house, and care for. What we are learning at Ben & Jerry's is that as you give, you receive. As you help others, we are helped in return. For people, for business, for nations, it's all the same. I just want to close with a short story about the man who was granted the ability to see both heaven and hell while he was still alive. This angel flew down and made this deal with him. So he first asked to see heaven. They go down, they open up this big door, they look inside, and there's this huge banquet hall with a long table down the middle, laden with every imaginable delight. Roast turkey, roast suckling pig, portobello mushrooms, Ben & Jerry's ice cream. And on each side of this long table was 2 rows of people. And he looks closer and he sees that these people are crying and wailing and in terrible pain and misery. And he looks closer and he sees that the eating utensils that the people have to eat with have such long handles that they can't get the food into their mouths. And so depressed and with a heavy heart, he asked to leave. And and then they go to see heaven. They go on up, open up this huge door, look inside, and it's virtually the same scene. This huge banquet hall with the long table down the middle, laden with every imaginable delicacy, people seated on both sides with the same long-handled utensils. Except the people in heaven are laughing and smiling and singing and rejoicing and having the most wonderful time. And he looks closer and he sees that the people in heaven, instead of trying to feed only themselves, were feeding each other. Thank you.
I don't still.
Charles K.C. Lust. Patricia Green. Nancy J. Higley. Cindy Lynn Poole. Shannon Lee Murray. Stephen Edward Nelson. Ronald E. Page, Sr. Christy Michelle Pasha. Stuart Edward West. James J. Yanizi. Please be seated. Will the graduates from the Burlington site please rise and Alice Burritt. Brian Edward Butler. Charlotte Beth Palachi. Michelle Elizabeth Gillette. Kim Marie Crowley. Anna M. Dory.
Hi. Show your teeth.
He's got new teeth, huh?
He wears headgear every night.
Once again, congratulations to the class of 1996. We are all very proud of you. I will ask the group on the platform to lead you from the room in a recessional, the way you came in. I ask the rest of you to stay seated until the graduates have reached the open area to the far right there. Then please join us outside under the tent for peace pops and the rest of a wonderful day.
I ain't standing here all day. Hurry up what? I'm done. I've been doing this for the last hour.
I do it at the high school, I'll run.
All that cheer has for a big
There we go. We got your name on it? Oh, yeah. Okay. Just checking.
I didn't even get one.
I asked you if you wanted one.
You asked me to go get mine.
Who's that girl with a big butt in front of the camera?
Well, I went and got my own.
Graham's hiding.
So we just want to get away from the restrooms.
Shannon, can't you look... Shannon, can't you look sad or something, you know, so make Mom and Dad cry a lot when they see this?
It just goes.
Tell them how much you miss them.
Hold it up straighter. No, up higher.
If I'm somebody. Perfect.
It's upside down, Shannon.
No, it is not. Smile or I'm going to eat your paw.
I wouldn't. She's already had it in her mouth.
Easy.
The whole thing.
Okay. Who else do you want a picture with, Graham? Okay, just...
Big smile.
I cut the top of Shannon's head off because I didn't want a picture in there.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
You got you right underneath the nose.
Yeah, I don't even
Okay,
recognize
well,
you.
you guys want a picture?
No, I ain't done yet. I didn't get it yet.
Okay.
I'm just...
You see it?
Back.
Hold it up.